against group. Joe Biden was talking today about a country that needs to be united and also needs to mourn more than 400,000 Americans who have died of a terrible virus, more than died in the military in World War II.
And Michael, there's no question that the president is looking to turn the page, saying we must end this uncivil war. And on the steps of the Capitol and with allusions to Abraham Lincoln, that is not a throwaway line, especially when you think about what happened 2 weeks ago when there was an insurrection attempted at the United States Capitol to subvert democracy itself. As you mentioned, he said this is America's day. This is democracy's day, and democracy has prevailed. He clearly feels that above all, unity is the business and the mission of this presidency.
You were so right, Savannah. And he's saying something, at all these inaugurations, every new president lauds democracy and the peaceful transfer of power so much that we take it for granted. President Biden, 2 weeks after the attack on the Capitol and the Congress of January 6th, is speaking to us at a moment in which we have just had a very close call. Under a few scenarios, we might have lost our democracy. What might we be talking today? And at the same time, he recognizes that he has to deal with more crises at once than almost any president in American history. The pandemic, the economic crisis, people are starving and out of jobs, a crisis of racial justice that's gone on for 400 years with systemic racism, a crisis of climate change, and others. These are not things that he could just afford to say, maybe I'll do that after the midterm election, or maybe I'll do it if I'm reelected to a second term. He knows he has to do all these things right now. Very tough for a new president.
The new president and new first lady making their way now up from the platform. We'll see them again a bit later at the laying of the wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. Let me bring in Mike Barnicle into our conversation, a veteran journalist, an NBC News contributor, also a longtime family friend of the Bidens. Michael, he spoke of unity as we thought. He acknowledged that some may see it as words. What are the deeds that will have to follow to fully deliver this message?
Well, I think the deeds are obvious to all, Lester. He has got to attack the virus with a vaccine, apply it to hundreds of millions of Americans in order to get the rest of the ball rolling and get the job done. The speech itself, I thought, though, had elements, deeply personal elements. At one point, the president said, there's no accounting for what fate will do to you. And God knows that's true for Joe Biden. He has carried his own cross for 50 years of loss and suffering, but also of resilience. And his very presence on the stage today was a form of resilience in full flower. We saw him as President of the United States, and he spoke to elements of his own character, his own personality, that he thinks should apply to the United States of America. Elements of humility, tolerance, generosity, and optimism. And as Savannah just mentioned, he said, we've got to end this uncivil war. That's in his nature.